Alright, hey guys, so it's Freyja. Welcome to Freyja's Fanfiction Corner, and we have a guest.
Hello.
Yes, this is Viselar. He's been my friend for way too long. Viselar knows me way too well, and,
like 6...
No,
years.
It was 2014, so 8 years.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah, so, fun story, we actually recorded, like, the first half of this, and then we found out that the recording software I was using, was, like, not free, and it was like, we're only gonna let you save 3 minutes of the audio unless you buy it, and I said that's bullshit, and so I downloaded one that was actually free, and so now we're trying again. It's a ride.
I gotta read through this again. I think we just skip the prologue and just get into it.
Well, I mean, I can just read the entire prologue. Or, you know,
read it.
Yeah, I will speed read through it because we're both kind of already sick of this story and we've only read half of a chapter. But we're gonna read the whole thing. Not all in one sitting because we're not fucking masochists, or at least they're not that much of masochists. But, you know.
Well, I'm a very big masochist.
We deal with each other so much, we must both be masochists.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of masochist to where I like to take things like making a claymation video.
I like claymation. Claymation is based.
Yeah, but I want things to be slow and very painful.
Ah, yes. That's why he's into CBT. I'm joking, he's not.
To the point where Kurt Cobain is what I aspire to be.
Hey, no, we're not killing ourselves. But Kurt Cobain was really hot. I'm just gonna say that. He was really hot. This is a sexy blonde man who looked like he was dying, and that's my type.
Anyways.
Prologue.
Prologue.
And I'm not going to do any commentary. I'm just going to read straight through it so we can get right into the fic. Dreams come in many forms, some good, some bad, some very realistic, even ones that feel very real. A dream may come to us from happy events, or even stem from bad events in our lives. Some come to us as a pleasure dream, and some come to us as nightmares. Some become vague memories after time, while some stay very rich in our minds. This is a story about a dream I had, a dream that became more dreams, a dream that would end one night and then resume the next. Excuse me. It became like a second life. Ever since I became a Zelda fan, I grew an interest in Link. I thought of him as the perfect man, because he didn't talk. And he just kind of agreed with everything I said. One that you could not find of this world. I thought of him as a man that should have been. The more he attracted my attention, the more I became attracted to him. I felt like there was a connection between him and me. Then, he became a part of me. Excuse me. And after that, I fell deeply in love. I know that may sound queer to you, as in weird, but love is a mysterious thing and should not be taken lightly. Love is a very strong emotion, an emotion that should be treasured. Love comes from the heart, but when it takes hold, it's got you. I don't quite understand it myself, but I do know that when I first laid my eyes on Link, I fell in love with him. My heart just told me it was right. Told me he was the one I had been searching for. Ever since I have felt it was destiny that has brought me to him. Even in my mind it feels the same. I don't consider myself different from anybody else. Though I have love for someone that is not really there, he will still remain very real to me inside my heart and in my mind. Even to this day, I still love him. He has kept me very happy. He has made me happy when I was sad. He has made me feel stronger about myself. He has even taken care of me in ways that no one else can. Even though I still have feelings for him, I'm not any different from the rest of you. I will still always hold him close in my heart. He is still on my mind and I still have dreams. The connection remains strong and the dreams very real. I have lived an entire life with Link in Hyrule, all stemming from a series of dreams. Dreams that I want to have, dreams that I make happen. From the first day I met him, to the birth of our first child, to even the days when Link and I prepared our family in the event Ganon should return. This book is based on my inner life. A second life far away in a land and in another timeline and another dimension. A tale of love, passion, despair, and hope. I'm still here. Can you not hear me? Hold on. Technical difficulties, please stand by.
You good?
Oh, fuck. I think we're having internet problems. Okay, so... Okay, yeah, probably I just cut out. But, I think the thing recorded me, so, you know, oof. Anyways, back to my dramatic reading. A tale of love, passion, despair, and hope. I enjoyed my inner life. Title drop. I look forward to going to sleep to it every night, and I look forward to the ones that will come. Because love will never die! The beginning. Alright, you get to read the first paragraph.
Okay. I'll never forget the day that I met Link. It was a warm spring day. It was on my usual trip back to Hyrule with my wagon of goods to sell in Hyrule Market at the annual Spring Festival. I've been a traveling merchant since I was 14. This is my 6th year returning to Hyrule. The last 2 years I was not able to return when Princess Zelda sent word of an evil presence in Hyrule. And all contact was lost. For almost 2 years I tried to contact Princess Zelda. Desperately, I kept trying to find out if she was okay. It was never too long without contact with my good friend. Then I was considering going to investigate when one day a word came in that peace had been restored to Hyrule due to the legendary Hero of Time.
Quote unquote.
Okay, now, just, you know, for, like, happenstance, your friend is not contacting you and you think, she'll get back to me. You're not like immediately curious of what's going on.
You're not like, holy fuck. Like, I mean, she did say she desperately tried to contact her.
Yeah, but after that failed, why were you only then going to investigate when it so happens that peace was restored?
I don't know. I think it'd be funny if she just came back and was like, oh fuck, Zelda's dead. Everyone's dead. Oh shit. She died in the war.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah, and it's also, I love the hero of time, like, quote unquote. Like, shouldn't really believe it. After some catching...
I think she's more like, just like, hero of time. Like, she's not like mocking it, but she's like curious.
Yeah, I know, it's just funnier to like, say it like that. After some catching up with my old friend, I aimed to find out what really happened. Seems that a Gerudo named Ganondorf, an evil man from Gerudo Valley, desired the legendary Triforce. Though the Triforce was only told in fairy tales to children where I come from, I was amazed to find out it really existed. She told me how she played with things she knew nothing about, then why was she fucking playing with them? And about how Ganondorf tricked the soon-to-be Hero of Time into unlocking the door to the Sacred Realm. I even noticed that Zelda was a little older than I. Last I saw her, she was 4 years younger than me, and I was told that when Ganondorf went to the Temple of Time in the Scared Realm, time jumped ahead in Hyrule 7 years. Yet, only 2 years passed in my land, and in the rest of the world.
That's not how that worked. That's literally not how any of that worked.
Jenna can't do math. Your turn.
Okay, hold on. I need my glasses. After the Hero of Time defeated the King of Evil, the hero was granted to either return to the past or remain in the present time. Well, he returned to the past, so, you know. Since he chose to remain in the present, but not, Zelda jumped ahead of me in age by 4 years.
This isn't
It seemed
AU.
it seemed everyone in Hyrule jumped in age from the rest of the world. But now that peace was restored, life resumed in Hyrule. As I made my way down the desert trail that led to Hyrule, I began to think about whom this legendary hero was. I was interested in meeting this man. Princess Zelda never told me his name, but I was going to make it a point to finally meet Hyrule's hero. As I turned off the dirt road and into Hyrule Field, Hyrule Castle appeared in the distance. Can she just say the castle, like, come
She
on.
doesn't have to, like, it's like specifically Hyrule Castle. No, what other fucking castle could she possibly be talking about?
Dust and dirt kicked up behind the wheels of my wagon as it creaked along. Then I came closer to the gates of Hyrule Castle. God.
You have to specify, because there's some other fucking castle there.
Apparently, a familiar face appeared to greet me. I pulled back on the reins to make the horses come to a complete stop at the front gates. Then I realized that the person greeting me was my good friend Princess Zelda. Why
you're
is she outside the castle?
And also, she's
Weren't
just
they
inexplicably friends with Zelda now.
Yeah, like, weren't they just in, like, a battle? Like,
A war?
you can't just...
And
Yeah,
the
you
princess
can't
is just
be
standing out there,
walking around.
unguarded, like, hey guys!
Yeah, Link's not even with her. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, Link, you know, we'll get to that when we get to that, never mind. I have been a good friend of the royal family ever since my first arrival in Hyrule 6 years ago for Hyrule's annual spring festival. Ever since then, ever since the day I met the princess, I have been one of her closest friends, inexplicably. I am even considered part of the royal family, inexplicably. After I climbed down from my perch on the wagon, I ran over to Zelda and hugged her. Hello, Princess Zelda, my good friend. Yes, it is good to see you. How have you been? That is the most stiff dialogue I have ever heard. Looking at her, I could tell she was happy to see me.
Oh, it's so good to see you again, my friend. Come, Father is waiting to see you.
Sounds like your impression of Sansa. Just less British. Leaving my wagon to be tended to by the stable hands, I followed Zelda through the marketplace and to the gates that led to the castle. As we approached the castle gates, I saw some of the same guards that I had seen in the past few years.
Saluting to Princess Zelda and me was a guard named Perino. I met him a few years back on the day of during one of my first visits to Hyrule. He was one of the only guards that befriended me the first time I arrived.
It's
He
gatekeeper.
smiled from the smile as we passed by. It's nice to meet you, Mistress Jenna. He
Greetings!
said as he waved.
Greetings, Mistress Jenna. Nothing to report.
Yeah, apparently. As I smiled back, I thought to myself how good it was to be back again. We went through the front gates and made our way towards the palace gardens. Upon approaching the gates leading to the garden, another familiar face appeared to greet me. As we walked closer, I realized that the face was of Zelda's caretaker, Impa of the Sheikahs. As I walked over to Impa, she turned to fully face me, and a small smile came across her face.
Hold on. Didn't you...
Impa is not supposed to be a Sheikah, she's just the royal advisor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, last time, you know, in our failed recording, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, the Sheikahs aren't a thing until Breath of the Wild. This is Ocarina of Time, which is quite literally almost the third spot in the timeline.
Huh.
Breath of the Wild is farther down and in a separate universe.
God, I don't know the Zelda timeline at all.
I unfortunately do, and it's awful. Anyways, it's good to see you again, my friend. How has life been treating you?
Impa asked.
Impa asked and put a hand on my shoulder.
Oh, fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. I had to chase some thieves off the first night, and I was on my way here. Though after facing time off, that doesn't make any sense. I was able to chase them away with my bow. Then I made a big grin as I remembered the look on the thieves' faces when I rained arrows on them.
Well, it seems with the abilities you possess, you have no problem keeping your possessions safe. With another smile, Impa gestured to us to go into the garden.
That is where I met him. The man that took my heart. As we walked into the garden, I saw a young man in green with his back facing us, polishing a rather odd sword. Polishing a rather odd sword in the garden. Damn, get a room.
Yeah, he was polishing his sword, alright.
As I watched him, oh, you have a voyeur fetish now? I had begun to notice something about the sword. It had a rather odd shape on the hilt. The hilt was blue at the top, up at the hilt looking like a fish's tail. He's got blue balls? See a doctor.
Yeah, you can probably get that checked out if the blubber is blue.
Yeah, his cock is
and
blue.
Looks like a fish's tail.
Yeah, that's not right. Once again, see a fucking doctor. The sword looked strangely familiar. Oh, so you're familiar with penises. I leaned over to Princess Zelda and asked her who the young man was.
This is the legendary hero of time. His name is Link, Zelda replied.
That sounds like Mercedes now. My eyes grew big as saucers as I turned to look back at him. You mean he is the hero of time you told me about? The one who saved Hyrule? Then that must be the legendary Master Sword he is holding.
Wow, very name-droppy around here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Zelda nodded,
but
just then Link turned to look at us. And with one look at his face, my heart sank into my chest. It's already there, okay. He was the most gorgeous man I've ever laid eyes upon. At that very moment, I fell in love. His eyes were looking down at me. His eyes were looking down into deep blue pools of water. His lips firm. His ears long and sexy. Beautiful blonde hair that parted in the middle. His body was so tight and muscular that it took my breath away. When our eyes met, I blushed and swiftly looked away. He approached me and took my hand in his, gently kissed it and asked, "Might this beautiful young lady be?" I turned my head back to face him. As our eyes met once again, I blushed.
My name is Jenna. I am a traveling merchant from the great Libyan coast. My village is there. I have been a friend of the royal family for a long time. And just for a note for people who aren't reading along, because I will be putting a link to this fic in the description. She puts quotes around every sentence instead of like differentiating like just who's saying what. She Jenna's individual sentences are put in different quotes. It's really fucking jarring and annoying and hard to read.
Now what I think she's trying to do is putting ellipses there, which would have made sense. Like, you know, there's like a pause.
Yeah.
Like a pause in between, but whatever.
And I come every year for Hyrule's annual spring festival.
He looked into my eyes and smiled. Watching him smile made my heart pound in my chest. He again took my hand and kissed it again and spoke. Nice to meet you, Mistress Jenna. You're as beautiful as a winter rose. He said as he stared at me with his enchanting blue eyes.
Thank you. I stammered as I blushed again. Oh yeah, that's your line, sorry. Beautiful as a winter rose is something we've literally used before in our roleplay.
Yes, we certainly have.
Except for it was Yule Rose, because I was trying to like make a play on Christmas roses, which are a flower I really like. And fun fact, they're super fucking poisonous, as it turns out, and that's why I kind of changed it to my actual favorite flower, Forget-Me-Nots. I'm referencing something the audience knows nothing about, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What are you doing tonight?
He asked with a soft smile.
He asked with a soft smile.
Stunned.
You go ahead.
And not believing my ears, I turned and looked directly into his eyes again. Nothing really. I was just going to retire to my wagon, even though the king thinks of me as a fucking child, and he just sends me off to my wagon anyway and cooks supper before settling in front of a fire to read a book. With a glint in his eyes, he asked,
"Why don't you join me tonight in Kokiri Village for the annual Spring Night celebration? It's a celebration feast that happens the night before the Spring Festival."
Without hesitation, I took him up on his offer. I would love to go, I said with a soft smile.
I'll pick you up this evening, Link said with a grin.
Just then, a deep voice rumbled through the garden, and Robert Baratheon...
Jenna, my dear, how have you been?
A grandfatherly face appeared before me. With a smile, I curtsied before the king. King Zelda, my old friend, how I have missed you! That's not his name.
His name is not... Hold on.
I'm gonna look it up.
The king's name is King Daphneus No Hansen Hyrule.
No Hansen? He has no hands?
No Hansen.
I know, I'm just making a joke.
It would be King Hyrule.
Or King Daphneus makes the most sense. Why would you call someone... Yeah. Let's like saying like Robert isn't King Robert, he's King Baratheon. That makes no fucking sense. We talk about Game of Thrones a lot. I have been just fine. It's really nice to see you again, I said with excitement in my voice. As always, the king thought of me as a daughter, even though he sends me off to sleep in the wagon. I get in when I'm in town, and always look forward to the day when I would arrive for the Hyrule Spring Festival. He always liked to see what new merchandise I picked up through my travels since the last time I was there. Most of the time he would buy something from me, but he always liked it when I would show up since I would bring lots of fun and happiness. As I looked at the king, I realized I was somewhat at home. This should be considered your fucking home! They said they're your adoptive family!
As he started to approach me, I ran up to the king and gave him a hug. How I have missed him. Ever since my parents died. Oh, don't cut yourself with all that edge. When I was younger, I never let anyone get close to me.
And yet you fell in love with Link instantly.
Yeah, but the king was different. He opened up to me. Took me into his family and became like a father to me. Then why do you sleep outside in the wagon?
And why do you cook your own food? You'd think he'd invite you inside, let you eat dinner with him and Zelda, let you have your own room if you're considered Zelda's fucking sister.
He gave me a home to come to every year.
Then he doesn't let you stay in it! He makes you sleep in the fucking wagon!
When I was in Hyrule, I felt at home. Jenna, my sweet daughter. Whatever you acquired through your travels this year.
I smiled. Oh. You must see some of the new cloth I picked up in the city of Skyle? Is that a word?
Skyly.
The great city of light. I smiled as the king's eyes grew big. Fucking got me messed.
Jenna, my daughter. You must show me what you've acquired.
Then he took my hand and began to lead me out of the garden. With one last look back at Link, I smiled at him. See you tonight, I said before I left. After spending some time with the king, he brought some of my new cloth and let me settle in for the night. In your wagon!
I returned to the inside of my wagon and prepared a hot bath. What? How do you have a bathtub in your wagon?
I think the idea is that it's like one of those like wagons that like it's almost like a medieval version of a trailer is what I'm thinking, where it just has it's like really big.
Like what the Duke has in Resident Evil 8?
I've never played Resident Evil 8. All I know is I want to be suffocated by Mommy Dimitrescu. I mean, Lady Dimitrescu.
God, fucking Lady Dimitrescu. I love her.
We simp. We both simp. Mommy!
Crush me with your giant ass. God. I went to the mirror and brushed my hair while I waited for the water to heat up.
How? Do you have
fucking wagon?
This is a fucking like what I'm imagining in the layout in my head is like maybe the bed is like a Murphy bed where you like pull it down or something and like this other like shit. I don't know. This is very odd.
I mean whatever, tiny house queen, I guess.
Maybe she's like a TARDIS. And like it's much bigger on the inside. And also how is she heating the water up? With like fire magic? Whatever.
I mean, yeah, they have like meteorite rods and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Anyways, I slipped down into the warm water. It felt so good against my sore muscles. I began to relax and slowly let my thoughts drift. Link was the only thing on my mind.
He is so handsome.
I thought to myself.
That is the heroic man who became the legendary hero of time and saved Hyrule from a life of darkness.
There was something tugged at the back of my mind.
Oh, you were tugging on something, alright. Oh wait, she's a woman.
I remembered that I had wanted to marry one day.
You just remembered that now?
And Link would be a great choice since he was my age. Strong, smart, and handsome. It would help make some strong, beautiful children.
You know she has a fucking breeding fetish.
Yes, indeed. Link would make a good husband. Then I took the soap and washed up. After I washed, I got out of the tub and dried off. Went to the wardrobe closet
in your wagon.
Pick out a dress for the evening occasion. What the you have a wardrobe in your wagon?
It's like, I bet you it's a fucking walk-in closet.
God. After some rummaging, I picked out a low V white dress with lace that had a V that held the V together.
It's like lace trim, I think. I can kind of envision what this dress looks like, luckily, but like, I get what she's going for. It's just poorly written.
Gold embroidered Triforce lined the bottom of the dress. Thought you didn't know what the Triforce was.
I mean, she mentioned earlier in the story, like, that she had heard of it in like stories, but she didn't necessarily know they were real. But if I remember, like, I thought that like the Triforce were like kind of like really sacred. You couldn't just like wear them unless you were like, it's like a royal sigil of sorts, like the Star Wolves, the Planets of Reliance.
You had to be part of the royal family to wear...
Well, I guess she's like adoptive part of the royal family.
And I guess. And the sleeve started from mid-arm and ran all the way down my arm to my wrist. So they're like gloves. Next, I picked up a gold choker with a Triforce symbol for around my neck. What?
I think I know what she's like talking about. Like, I get the general idea of what she's trying to go for here.
I know exactly what she's trying to go for, but the term is not choker.
Maybe she wants to be collared. Maybe this is no Megaverse fic and they just haven't been very explicit about it.
Oh, maybe.
She's gonna go into heat next chapter.
And a gold Triforce ring for my finger.
Okay, we get it. You like the Triforce motif.
Then I had to do my hair. I braided my hair into a Triforce.
No.
Into a halo braid and ran a beautiful silver lace through it.
Okay, that actually sounds pretty.
After that, I went into the full-length mirror to look at myself. As I looked myself over, a knock came at my door.
Okay, because like this dress in my head, I can envision it. It does look pretty, but I think it's more of like a wedding dress almost, because it's white and gold. You got your hair all done up. You're not getting married yet. Come on, at least wait a chapter. Come! Oh, it's that kind of story. And it's like, come! And then he nutted all over the door.
When he's ready, you just yell at the penis, just come! Do it now!
Come on! Just do it, goddammit! Come all over me! Appearing in the doorway was the man I had set my eyes on. Sorry. Hold on, I need a second. I don't know why, but what you said was so fucking funny. Okay, I'm gonna take a drink. Just come, damn it! You have to yell at the penis or it doesn't work.
Screaming at Stone's penis. Well, Link's specifically.
Oh, yeah. Probably a kink. Appearing in the doorway was the man I had set my eyes on. His eyes grew big, like an anime character, as he looked me over.
You look beautiful tonight.
Link said as he took my hand and kissed it. Then he led me out the door. There were 2 horses in the front saddled for riding. Oh, you're gonna be doing a lot more riding later, I bet. I'm immature. One was a rust-colored mare with a white mane spelled incorrectly, and tail with a black muzzle. I think she means muzzle.
This is Epona.
Yeah, it's Epona. And the other one was one of my brown mares with a black mane and tail. That coloring is called a bay, and if you had described it that way, that would have made... It would have taken you less fucking words. Which you're very wordy.
You gotta get in that word.
She turned this in for an English project. I'm joking. Okay, unrelated, but one time I turned in a Heather's fanfic for an English project and I got 100. The one he had got.
I basically took one of our role plays and transferred it into a screenplay for one of my college assignments.
Yeah, the Viselar one. Just a little bit of context for the listeners. Viselar is not just the alias of my lovely friend here, but he is the primary original character that he's created for Game of Thrones, and he's paired up with Asha Greyjoy. He's pretty based. Viselar's pretty based. And anyways, the one he had gotten was the one with a white star on her forehead. The one I named Star Dancer. He led me to my mare and helped me up into the saddle. Then he mounted the other horse. Ooh.
Wait, so Link is now riding Epona, his actual horse?
I think he's helping her. No, I think he was trying to. It's poorly written, but I think what he's trying to say is he's helping her on to Star Dancer, and then he gets on Epona.
Okay.
But I think that's what she's trying to convey anyway. It's poorly written, but I'm trying to, like, translate it in my head. This is easier to mentally translate than My Immortal, I'll give myself that. Then he mounted the other horse, Link X Epona, Rule 34, look it up, don't do that actually, that's a terrible idea. Looking back at me, his eyes seemed to glow in the moonlight.
Oh me, I'll lead the way.
Then he booted the horse in the legs, ow, and took off at a slow gallop. That is not a thing! A slow gallop does not exist. That's called a fucking canter, or a trot. It's not a fucking gallop. If it's a gallop, it's going fast. There's no such thing as a slow gallop. I'm a horse girl, and I get mad about this stuff. I then followed. We rode to the south side of Hyrule, and then came upon a long tunnel.
This way.
Link called.
Through here.
I watched as Link disappeared into the tunnel. Then I followed. Why aren't you just riding next to him? That seems much more convenient. At the other end, we crossed a bridge into what seemed to be a village. Oh, no, it wasn't a village. It's just a mirage, you idiot.
Little people wearing green clothes that looked like kids started to surround us when we stopped. This is Kakariko Village, the place where I was raised, Link said as he dismounted. After I dismounted, one of the kid-like Kokiris took our horses to tend to them. As I walked around the village, the childlike people began watching me. They all seemed very curious who I was.
Why do they keep on harping on... Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt, but why do they keep on fucking harping on the fact that these characters look like children? That's weird.
Well, technically the Kokiri are, like,
well, elves?
Just small. Well, yeah, they're elves, so they age slowly. You know?
Maybe they're just real short. Alright, fair enough. They're all just midgets. Every Kokiri man is a manlet.
As I looked around at them, I noticed that they had something floating around them. As I looked closer, I noticed that they looked like fairies from the fairy tales told to us in our village as kids.
Were these really the fairy tales? And the fairies from the stories I heard as a child? I thought to myself. We have to specify that she was thinking, because it looks like it's a dialogue.
Just then, one of the Kokiris, a young girl, approached me.
My name is Saria. Oh wait, you want to read Saria?
Sorry. My name is Saria. What's yours?
Every female voice you do sounds like Mercedes. My name is Jenna. It's a pleasure to meet you. I should make Jenna sound like Hilda.
Are you the one that came with my friend Link to our Spring Night Festival? Saria's eyes seemed to glow at that moment.
Yeah, he invited me. I
said as a smile across the Kokiri girl's face.
I can't keep doing Hilda's voice for that.
Why would you just say Saria's face?
Yeah, like, it's like... She's such a weird writing style. I could tell that she knew I had my eyes set on Link. How? Do you think she's a fucking psychic? Though she remained silent about it. There were male Kokiri as well. No, it's an all-female colony. They have to mate with human males in order to reproduce, like mermaids. One in particular was one named Mito. One in particular was one. You're so fucking redundant, Jenna. He was the leader of the Kokiri and a dear friend of Saria and Link. How do you know this? They didn't fucking tell you.
It's in the game.
Oh, okay. He had a sense of... No, I meant like the character... Never mind. he has a sense of humor, but he yet remained stern and headstrong, for he was the leader and responsible for their lives. It was time for the feast. Sarya addressed her for me to join them at the feast table. She led me to the seat next to Link. As I sat down next to him, she smiled and winked at me. Did she plan this? I asked myself, obviously in her head, and then smiled. How could Sarya have planned it, though? Like, she didn't fucking know who you were. Sarya must be a psychic. I'm gonna say that's canon now. After a moment.
Well, she is one of the sages.
Yeah, so she probably just is psychic and just wanted to fucking doom Link to marriage with this woman. Well, Jenna's not that bad so far, just a little annoying. And a little creepy. After a moment, I looked over all the food. There was a great abundance of food to eat. There was cooked pork. Well, obviously it was cooked unless you want to get tapeworms. In a rich chestnut cream sauce. Beef stew. Cooked turkey. And all different kinds of cheeses, bread and butter, cooked veggies, and even many different kinds of fruit. My mouth began to water as I combed over the food. As I served myself, I began to eat. Duh. As I was eating, I could not help but notice that Link was watching me out of the corner of his eye. He was just watching you fucking pig. I guess also, why it's like cooked turkey, cooked pork. Well, obviously they're cooked. How were they cooked? It would have been a better descriptor if you had said roast turkey, grilled pork. I don't know. That's just a random critique, like just as an advice to my writers listening, I guess.
I could feel his stare, though it was pleasant. Then our eyes met, and a smile crossed his face.
He's got that Byleth 1,000-yard stare.
As I stared into his eyes, they seemed to glow under the light of the moon. He even looked more handsome in the moonlight. I then told myself that I would be crazy to pass up a man like this. After everyone finished eating, all the Kokiri got up and started to dance. Some of the Kokiri even played instruments. Yeah, they're fucking...
No, they're dancing to no music. They're dancing...
They're busting down on the fucking ocarinas.
Yeah, they're like twerking and shit. There's poles. Sarya's like, I don't know, like doing a striptease or something. I'm kidding. If they look childlike, they're not.
Yeah, she looks like a child.
Yeah, I'm making a joke.
As the music drifted into the air, Link took my hand into his. Would you care to dance? I looked at him and smiled.
Yes, I'd love to.
He led me to where everyone else was, and we started to dance. We danced and drank long into the night. And to show my appreciation, I even did a solo dance.
Oh, and yeah, no, Sarya didn't strip. She has more class than that. Jenna, like, she did the whore dance.
And after I did my dance, I went to sit down and rest. I was tired. Link came and sat down beside me. You look real tired.
Are you ready?
Are you ready to retire? Link said as he put his hand on my shoulder. I nodded yes, and tried to get up to walk, but I was so tired that I had too much to drink. I stumbled. Catching me in his arms, Link led me back to where I was sitting. I think it would be wise if you stayed here tonight. I have plenty of room and I can escort you back to the castle in the morning. Link looked at me with a worried look, and I decided to stay. And that is how we spent every night together, even up to the night when I finally shared his bed.
Also, just so you know, I am not doing serious voice acting for the smut scenes. I can't bring myself to do that on YouTube. Just so you know, because we're about to get to one. I started to know within inside myself that Link was the one I wanted to be with, even more so on the night where I shared himself with him. It was a warm spring night, no shit, and night had just arrived. No shit! Link and I were sharing the quiet sounds of the night together. I had been seeing Link for little more than a month. The spring festival had come and gone, and the warm weather was finally returning. All signs of winter were almost gone by the time, and my time in Hyrule was about to end for the year. In 2 weeks, I would be leaving for the city of Tarvera. Knowing and this made me sad, since I did not want to leave Link.
In just as context, that's in the Gerudo Valley, and males are not allowed there.
Ah, so she can't even bring Link. No, Link would have to put on his outfit from Breath of the Wild, where he's dressed like a little femboy. Femboy Link!
I finally found someone that I truly loved, and I would have to leave him behind when it was time to leave. Even Link was not happy after I had told him that I would be leaving soon. When I told him, his face went from happy to a depressed one. He wanted to be with me, and he wanted to stay in Hyrule with me. He wanted me to stay in Hyrule with him. But I was going to spend every minute I had left with him and enjoy it. He had remained quiet for quite some time. Then it was Link who broke the silence. Jenna, it has been a wonderful almost 2 months with you. I thought it was a month.
Maybe it was a month. What the fuck? Yeah.
I watched him as he stuttered to find his words. Even as short as it was, I really enjoyed the time I've spent with you. I wish you did not have to leave. I did not think I would ever find another quite like you, Link said as a look of sadness appeared in his eyes. At that moment, I was on the verge of tears. I was in love with him. I leaned over and softly placed my lips on his and kissed him tenderly. He then looked deep into my eyes, and then told me he loved me. With those words, I began to cry. I'd never felt this way before. Like the way he makes me feel when I'm with him.
Oh, I'm mentally preparing myself. The dialogue is like gonna basically disappear. There's like a lot of, I don't know, man. Wait, hold on. He gently took his hand and wiped away my tears. Then he put his hand underneath my chin and slowly lifted my head up until our eyes met. With his hand, he drew my face close to his, gently placed his lips on mine, and kissed me softly. At that moment, I took the opportunity to deepen the kiss. This really does sound like my writing from like 2015. As our tongues met, I started to feel his hands caressing my body. As he gently caressed my body, I let out small moans into his mouth. Jesus Christ, you are fucking sensitive. Then he moved his lips to my neck, placing sweet nibbles on it as his hands trickled up my back into the clasp of my dress. Little by little, he started to remove my dress, and I felt my body quivering under his gentle caressing of his broad hands. Does he really have broad hands?
Yeah, I mean, Link's kind of like a small dude, but
he's a twink.
His hands are
he's a twunk because he's got a little bit of muscle. And he's kind of tall, but he's not like super tall. You know what I mean?
Like most of the Zeldas are taller than him.
Yeah. As he pulled the dress down off my legs and tossed off your legs.
Was it like a pantsuit or something?
It's a dress, not a jumpsuit. Whatever. Slowly, he moved back to my lips and kissed me forcefully. Ooh, damn it! It's non-con now. His tongue began probing my mouth. My tongue slowly met his, causing it to intertwine with his, tasting the sweetness of him. Then we broke off the kiss, and I looked into his dark blue eyes, and I reached up and removed his belt from his waist.
Slowly, I pulled off his belt, letting it fall to the ground. And then I slipped my hand under his tunic and swiftly removed it as his lips went to my breasts. As his lips and tongue teased the nipples of my breasts. Yes, nipples are typically on boobs.
Yeah, no, actually, she has nipples on her asshole too. I'm joking. No.
She has a set of 6 because she's a dog.
She's a cat.
I felt new feelings swarm through my body. My back arched. Groans of pure pleasure escaped past my lips. Never had I felt such things before. Never had my body ever felt such pleasure. Then Link slowly moved his hands down my body till he reached my navel. Then he kissed it. A giggle And he kissed a giggle past my lips.
Just imagining he does he just makes a raspberry on her stomach like. That was me trying to do it on my own hand. Yeah. Some dumb shit like that.
And he looked up and he looked into my eyes, and then we looked into each other's eyes as I reached up to his chest and placed my hand on the lace that had held the collar together of his white undershirt.
Wait, I thought it was at her stomach though. Reached up?
Damn, these people are moving like light speed.
They're just like
His body started to quiver as my hand worked.
He's scared!
While I removed his white undergarments.
Where's Tiny Whitey, Steven? Didn't you tell me that was a red flag?
This is the guy who literally stabbed Ganon through the fucking head. And he's quivering because someone's removing his white undershirt.
No, he wears Tiny Whitey's, Viselar, don't you get it?
Oh my god.
He's one of those guys, and you tell me those guys were terrible?
Then I yanked it off, exposing his beautiful, heavenly, naked body. The body of pure heaven.
You get it, you're into twinks, damn!
You know, sometimes they're not bad, alright?
Yeah, we have our own brand of funky little goth twinks.
Alright, you ready for the long one, or should I read it?
Okay. No, I can do this. I just, mental preparation. I'm just looking at my Demolith, figure to remind me of what a good, fanfic about a hot blonde guy plowing a self-insert looks like. Because, I plan on writing a Demolith fic, and, in case you can't tell by my channel name and persona on this video, I can Byleth and self-insert onto her pretty hard. Trust me, Viselar knows.
Is that another one I'm gonna have to read?
No shit, Sherlock, but it's gonna be good, so we won't be reading it on the channel. Hey,
right.
My writing has improved. Our lips met again as he gently pushed me down onto his bed, climbing on top of me. I begun to feel his heart beating in his chest, and as his lips moved back to the nipples on my breast, as opposed to the nipples on my stomach, because I'm a cat.
Yeah.
Soft moans of pleasure passed my lips as he nibbled gently on my nipples, causing them to become erect. Wait, did we already read this? No, we didn't. Sorry. It's just very repetitive. As he teased my nipples with his lips and tongue, I felt his handwork work its way down my body. First to my thighs, then between my legs. He's got a finger blaster. He gently... Oh, oops. I accidentally, scratched my mic. I hope that didn't, catch on the audio. He gently brushed his hand across the lips of my mound, and I groaned to tell him to continue. I was like, ugh! And that's obviously...
Mound.
I mean, no, it's I've heard pubis mound for the place that's not your vagina but directly above it. So yeah.
It's your pelvis.
Yeah, but I've heard it called that is the point. So it's not I can't criticize that too much. It's just weird. I've also
mound and thing are always the nomenclatures that people use when they don't want to say.
Just say pussy, god damn it! Cunt!
Yep. Like pussy and cock.
Pussy, cunt, cock, dick, penis, vagina! Then his fingers brushed against my clit, and I screamed out. A pulse of pure ecstasy raced through me. Wrong through. Okay. I grabbed his hand and pulled it closer, telling him I wanted more. Closer than it already was? Taking the hint.
He's knuckle deep in her now, I guess.
Taking the hint, he teased me as his hand brushed across my clit every few strokes. Just start rubbing her clit. That feels way better than just kind of brushing over it and then going and doing something else. Damn. Is Link into edging? I guess he is. My body shuddered under his touch as my soft moans turned into cries of pleasure and pure ecstasy, as Link's fingers teased and caressed my mound. Just call it a pussy! His fingers moved down until they brushed over the entrance. Slowly, Link inserted a finger, slipping it into the wetness probing inside me, causing animal-like cries to pass my lips. Animal-like? You roaring, meowing, barking, neighing?
He's cawing like a bird. He's
Then I arced my back and screamed in pure ecstasy as he began to thrust his broad fingers inside my deep, hot wetness. New feelings flooded through my body, rushing through my head like a sugar high, as his fingers pushed their way in and out of my sleek, beautiful body. Damn, arrogant ass. With each thrust, my legs shuddered, sending momentary shocks to my lower organs. Then I arched my back, my body screaming in ecstasy as his movements became faster. I reached up and dug my nails into his muscular back. Ouch! As the eternal bliss raced through my every vein. As a side note, has this bitch never touched herself before?
Lots of ecstasy.
She's doing a lot of drugs.
Apparently. I began feeling jolts of pure hot passion surging through my lower organs. Don't say it like that. That's weird.
No, they were running through her intestines. She started shitting everywhere.
Yeah. Through my bones as I felt myself starting to climax. From fingering? Okay,
yeah.
I mean,
it can happen. It's just Link's gotta be pretty good at what he's doing.
It happens, but like, damn, that was quick.
She's never done this. She's never even touched herself, so I guess she just was like, it's like a guy who hasn't jerked off in months, just takes him like 5 seconds to come.
She's like 20. How have you never touched yourself?
It's like back when I was like when I was really into corruption and like we do role plays where Sansa didn't know what masturbating was.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore, listeners.
My back arched again, and I grunted in cat-like sounds.
That's why I called her a cat earlier.
As he began to thrust his fingers deeper, helping the movement. My hands felt his back. My hands felt his back become sweaty as I dug my nails in deeper.
You're gonna fucking blood! Stop!
Then my slender body twisted as I came to full climax.
You're coming again?
No, she just came.
Okay.
Then I screamed in ecstasy as my warm juices rushed down his hand.
You don't squirt on like your first orgasm. You squirt on like your third.
Falling back, panting, I looked up into his eternal blue eyes.
I can't read this line seriously, and I'm gonna make it sound serious. I want to make love to you.
Oh God.
I can't do the smut line seriously. I can't voice act that shit.
I think it's funnier that I read mine normally.
And then I read mine just like really stupid. I'm gonna like do the stupid. I'm just gonna
I whispered to him as he ate my body with his hungry stare.
He's not eating. Just eat her out, damn it.
I've wanted to make love to you from the first day I met you. Link said it as his hungry lips returned to my beautiful neck. Then I bucked my head back and cat-like sounds escaped past my lips as he pressed his hot body against mine. As I ran my nails down his sweaty back and I felt our hearts starting to beat faster as our bodies became hungry for each other.
Lord Almighty.
Suddenly, strange new feelings began to surge through me as our passion ignited. Then, as he penetrated deep into my sweaty body, the feeling rushed through me like a raging river. The feeling like a woman.
Like a woman.
Never had I felt this way before. I felt my body begin to surge with strange new feelings as I let my virginity slip away.
Your virginity doesn't slip away like that. That's such a terrible way of writing that. I'm sorry.
As we made love, I whispered in his ear that he made me feel like a woman, and and my surprise, he said I made him feel like a man.
He felt like a
We
woman
made
up until this point.
We made love long into the night for filling each other's...
filing.
For
filing.
each other's... I don't know, why are you filing it?
It's like taking a filing cabinet, writing everything down. Keep reading.
For file... I feel like filling would be better.
Yeah, no, I think she wanted to write for filling, but she just doesn't know how to fucking spell. And so that's what she wrote.
For filing each other's hot desires and fantasies. And I thought to myself that this was the one thing that I did not want to miss.
Well, you're not missing outing on it, because you're getting fucked right now.
I wanted to drink in every part of him. And after it was over, I could not wait to feel him again.
Drinking in every part of him, spitters or quitters.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, and she made him feel like a man because he felt like a girl up until this point?
I guess.
That's why he always wore that little Gerudo outfit they gave him. Link is not trans, at least as far as I know. The next...
He's not.
Yeah.
Though he is in love with,
Link is a bisexual icon.
Well, he is in love with,
Sidon?
Mipha.
Or Mipha?
Mipha, which is Sidon's sister.
Mipha's cool, I like her. I don't know that much about Zelda, Legend of Zelda universe. I think Zelda's pretty, and I think Link's pretty hot. He's not really my exact type.
I know way too much about Zelda lore.
Yeah, my type is damaged and angry. And hot and tall. Facial deformities can or cannot be there. My two biggest crutches are freaking Dimitri and the Hound. And Theon Greyjoy. Something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with me. The next few days were depressing. Us knowing that I was leaving in less than 2 weeks made us depressed. Why did... Okay. Just a lot of redundancy. If you took out all the redundancy, this fic would be 2 pages long. The nights were spent mostly quiet except for the occasional sigh. You guys should have fucked more. It would have made things more interesting. I was beginning to think I'd never be this happy again. Link made me feel special. He made me feel like a woman. And he was my first. Do I really have to...
I feel like a woman!
Come on! She said that multiple times and you just started laughing?
It's the first time that actually stood out to me.
I'm feeling like a woman, all woman at once!
I am feeling like a woman.
She is the end-all be-all of women.
She is the alpha and omega.
She's a switch?
Apparently.
And she gonna whip her dick out then. Jenna's a Fuda, guys. I'm joking, she's
Please.
not. You wish she was a fucking Fuda, you degenerate! I'm also a degenerate, so it's fine, I don't care. And he was my first. Do I really have to leave? I asked myself. But then I remember that the places I travel to each year were counting on me. So I had to go. Love or not.
You can read the next one.
Oh, okay. Man, I'm tapping out already. It was the day before I was leaving. I was at the marketplace for the first time and for this year. I was at my stand, selling what I had left, when I saw Link enter the market and headed for where I was. As I watched him, I wondered if this was going to be the last time I was ever going to see him. I began to cry when he approached me. Taking his hand, he gently wiped away my tears and told me not to cry. Then he looked into my brown eyes. Oh no, she has brown hair too. She looks like me! Ah! And then he told me that he had something to tell me. Then he got down on one knee and produced a small gold box. He opened it to reveal the gold diamond ring inside. With a loud gasp, I clapped my hands over my mouth because they were actually hooves, and this is a My Little Pony fic. Then he took my hand in his.
Will you marry me?
That sounded like he
Yes.
He had some hope in his eyes, and as I started to cry again, oh my goddesses! Yes! I will! I said in between tears. He took my left hand and placed a ring on my finger. Then he got up. We embraced and started to kiss. Now I knew I did not have to leave. Hyrule was meant to be my home. We were destined to be together.
Why is that so... It took them a month to get to this point?
They decided I've been dating my boyfriend longer than Jenna and Link have been together. Why hasn't he proposed to me?
Yeah, what the hell?
What the heck, dude? It's been a month. Come on. I'm joking. I do not want things to go that fast. That would freak me out.
Summer finally arrived, and signs of spring were slowly fading. I was spending my days at Hyrule Castle, helping with the chores and making plans for my upcoming wedding. Link spent his days building a home in the Lost Woods for us to live in after we were married. I'm the Lost Woods.
That seems like a very dangerous place to live because, you know, you can get lost easily.
I was excited about our upcoming wedding. I was marrying Link. No shit.
Duh!
I finally had a man I fell in love with. He was special to me. He was building a home for us to live in. Again, no shit. A home for us to raise our family in. Link told me he wanted to be a father, and the most of all, he wanted a son.
Arthur has such a fucking breeding kink.
Yeah, we had talked about having children together. When I first started my traveling, I didn't want children. But now that I was marrying Link, I decided I wanted to have children with him. Having children by him would make them strong and beautiful, since Link was strong and beautiful himself.
This is very weird.
Yeah.
This is like...
Even my friendship with Princess Zelda and her father grew stronger when we told them about our engagement and that we were going to have children. Since Zelda was not betrothed and had not yet wed, this was the closest thing of her being a mother and the king being a grandfather. Now that we were to wed, my life was almost complete.
Question: how do you know? Oh, Zelda isn't going to get married ever.
Yeah, she could be betrothed to Sidon, because apparently the Sheikah exists, so this is also Breath of the Wild universe.
I'd ship it. That would make sense, actually, I'm pretty sure. And the Zora and the Hyrule.
No, she has to get married to the Skull Kid.
I don't know who that is.
The Majora's Mask, the Skull Kid.
I've never actually played Majora's Mask. Viselar?
Yeah, you know Majora's Mask, like the purple and yellow and bullshit?
Is that what the Skull Kid is?
Yes, that's what the Skull Kid looks like.
I'm gonna assume that Zelda's gonna marry Sidon, though, because I like that. That's my headcanon now. It's canon. That's my inner life fanfiction. I'm gonna write a fanfiction of a fanfiction.
So, in Breath of the Wild, actually, in the pre-stages, like the 100 years beforehand, Sidon is a baby.
Okay.
And then after 100 years, only then does he become the hunky shark dude.
I wanna fuck him. But like adult Sidon, obviously, because I'm not a fucking pedophile.
So I guess that's the end of chapter 1.
Yeah, so, the question is, do we keep reading, or is this gonna be the end of our first episode?
How long has this recording been going?
Oh, fuck. I actually don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess this is a good cutoff point. We can do, like, another episode, like, tomorrow or something. This has been Freyja's Fanfiction Corner. I'm Freyja.
I'm Viselar.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you know, like, subscribe, leave a comment, something cool like that.
You can tell us what degenerates we are.
We know we're degenerates. Yeah, so now I have to figure out how to stop the recording. I don't want to stop. Oh, never mind, the button's right there. Bye, guys!